What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the RTG career mode. This is episode number 35. We're starting today's episode off on the back of our grind out 1-0 victory away against Mallorca in the Balearic Islands. We now cut the gap on Barcelona to just 2 points to the top of the table. And of course right now we're just 10 goals conceded in 20 games in La Liga. Best defensive record right now. Kepa on a fantastic run of form. 8 clean sheets in 9 in all competitions. And for Malaga, 9 straight wins in a row in all competitions as well. The question is, for how long can we keep it going? Well, for the first game of today's episode on Wednesday night on the back of the win away in the Balearic Islands here. Now taking on Barcelona at the Nou Camp, but not in La Liga. Instead, it was in the Super Cup. The Super Cuppa. Which, to be honest here, I was really one bit fussed about. So, heading into the game, I picked a backup side for the game because, you know, the thing is, I think this is like, this is a cool little competition. Obviously, it's a 4-team competition, right? You got the winners of La Liga and the runners-up of La Liga and the winners of the Spanish Copa de España and the runners-up of the Copa de España, or the Copa del Rey, if you will. I think it's kind of cool. Obviously, you know, I talk a lot about how, like, you know, I wouldn't say football, you know, there are certain competitions that aren't worth winning. I think any competition is worth winning. Don't get me wrong. A trophy's a trophy at the end of the day. Having said that, there are some competitions which I do believe should probably be scrapped. You know my feelings on the Carabao Cup and the Johnston's Paint Trophy, or whatever it's called now, Papa John's Trophy, I think it's called. You know, I think that should be scrapped. I think the Super Coppa in Spanish football, it's kind of like the equivalent to the Charity Shield, or the Community Shield, if you will, in English football. The reason why it's probably a little bit more important than the Charity Shield, or I keep saying the Charity Shield, my age showing through there, the Community Shield, if you will, is obviously because of the fact that it's a 4-team competition, so it's not just like a one game, a one-off, which is what can make it feel like a bit of a glorified friendly in English football, but also the fact it's in mid-season as well. But if you were to say, like, to any Spanish football fan, particularly, you know, the big three, Barca, Real, and Atletico as well, you know, would you prefer winning the Super Cup or the Copa del Rey, or would you prefer winning the Super Cup or La Liga? Obviously, the Super Cup is the lowest priority. Of course it is, and of course it always will be as well. And so, to me, you know, I often talk about how, like, in modern day football, cup competitions are becoming less and less reputable. A lot of people talk about how, like, the magic of the cup is dying, if you will, and the magic of the cup is being eradicated, and we're losing the essence and the importance of the cup competition. But there are some, you know, football fans out there. There are some, you know, football supporters that could still debate the importance of winning the cup and winning the league in their respective countries. But when one cup competition is regarded as objectively far less, and I mean of far less importance than any other competition, that to me is when it really loses its spark. And so with that Super Cup game there against Barcelona, I was like, you know, if that winning run goes here, 9 wins in a row, so be it. Because on the weekend we're away in Vigo against Celta, in a game which is of far more importance than that Super Cup semi-final. That was a Cup semi-final, technically. That was the semi-final of a Cup competition. But I'd take the 3 points on the weekend any day of the week. And so we had our fully fit side rested for this game here, away against Vigo, able to get back on track after losing our 9-game winning run. But I wasn't one bit fussed, because I knew if we could win this game here, that semi-final defeat, I mean, it meant basically nothing anyway. It would mean even less here. And this is the thing, like, to me, like, this is the marker for me. We know sometimes league titles can be separated by very fine margins. Sometimes 3 points, sometimes 2 points, sometimes 1 point, sometimes even head-to-head or goal difference. Okay, not always. Every now and then a team will absolutely dominate, but sometimes it's separated by the very finest of margins. If you were to ask we're going to go with a big three in La Liga here, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid fans. If you were to say to the fans of those 3 teams here, right, we're going to give you a choice. You can either win the Super Coppa semi-final and go through to the Super Coppa final, or you can have 3 points in your game in La Liga on the weekend. I mean, we're talking about a cup semi-final here, right? A cup semi-final. And yet I would wager, I would bank that the vast majority of those football fans would say, the 3 points. Give us the 3 points. we'd much prefer the 3 points. It's one game out of 38, yet we'd still prefer the 3 points because we know how tight sometimes league titles can be won by. And that is why I wasn't one bit fussed about losing that Super Cup semi-final, because on the weekend, travelling to Vigo, we were leading by 3 goals to 0 at this point, absolutely dominating. And whilst we would lose our clean sheet later on, Kevin Volland, the German, getting Celta Vigo a consolation goal. It's all it proved to be. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone is going to remember a Super Coppa victory come the end of their careers and say, oh, that was the one. That was the one. That's the trophy I'm most proud of. But winning a La Liga, absolutely. I would say, like, if I was a professional football player, I would take 1 La Liga championship over 10 Super Copas. To me, there's no comparison between the importance and the significance of the two competitions. So that win against Celta Vigo meant infinitely more than going through to what would have been our second cup final of the save. So heading into the following game, taking on Getafe on the back of the win there against Celta Vigo, travelling to Madrid. Well, big 3 points picked up there, but we needed to keep it going. We know consistency can be king, and outside of that Super Coppa loss, we would have had 10 straight wins in a row. So great run of form for Malaga despite the loss to Barcelona, but travelling to Madrid here, oh man, I got off to the worst possible start. Played really well away in Vigo, but here in Madrid, I was all over the place. 2-0 down, 18 minutes in, and you know, this season my defence has been sublime, but in this game here, absolutely atrocious start. So you need to get back in the game on the offensive end after a really poor start. Robert Sanchez, the former Brighton goalkeeper, kept it at 2-0, and Getafe still had their cushion, but right before the break, didn't want to go into half-time and down the dressing room, down by 2 without getting a goal. Needed one back, and in the end, we would get it. El Akab gets on the end of this Tony Flores cutback here with a minute to go. It's such a crucial time to get a goal right before the break as well. Sometimes it can be a separator, or it can get you back in a game, just like it did here. 2-0 down at half-time, wouldn't fancy our chance in the second half. Now only down by 1 with momentum, I definitely did. So 9 minutes after the restart here, as Tony Flores screams his man to allow Traore to run through. That was so cool there. Flores gives Traore the space. It was kind of like American football, you know, like when the rusher is running forward and one of the teammates sort of shields off an opposition defender. That was so cool there. You can tell I don't watch American football. Russia, is that the right term? I don't know. But brilliant for Flores there, allowing Traore to go through one-on-one, smacking home from 2-0 down. We're back on level terms. But this is why I talked about in the last episode, the importance of strong defense can't be understated. We scored 2 goals here away in Madrid. We'd done really well on the offensive end. Sanchez had made a great save for it, scoring 3 goals in the game. But despite scoring 2 on the road, we still lost. Why is that? Well, Alexander Sorloth bagged his brace later on, and our winning run is ended in La Liga after 8 straight games. Yep, final score Getafe 3, Malaga 2, and it's why, I'll say it once again, defense wins championships. Keep a clean sheet in that game, it's another 3 points. In the end, whilst we score 2, we still get absolutely 0 points. No point. No, 0 point. I don't know how you say that. That's not even Spanish, it's French. Cero puntas, I think that's how you say it in Spanish. But even so, 0 points for that game there, because again, our defense was poor. So, following game, we're back in the Balearic Islands, taking on Mallorca, Copa del Rey. Heading into this game, last year it reached the final, but to be honest there, you would have seen my lineup. It was a weak one. We did have a couple of starters out there. Sergio Busquets started the game, for example, but quite a weak lineup, because obviously in La Liga right now, on the back of the loss to Getafe, we've got to keep pace with Barcelona at the top of the table if we are to stay in the top 4. So heading into the game, weakened lineup for this one. Wasn't going to be too fast. We did go out. I wanted to get through, don't get me wrong, after reaching the final last year, but La Liga, far more important to me. We need to get back on track. Thankfully, our backup boys got the job done. Roberto with the only goal of the game. He's got a bit more game time this year and done quite well for me, to be fair. He scores the only goal of the game. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's the clean sheet that sees us through in the end. Gutierrez made a great save early, and we progressed through to the last 16. We'll be away in Seville against Sevilla for the last 16, but into the last 16 in the Cup. But crucially in La Liga, far more important to me right now, 2 points clear of Atletico. Crucially, 11 clear of Espanyol in 5th as you try and keep hold of a top 4 place. But we've now cut the gap on Barcelona to head record. But that will end this episode of the RTG Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it. If you had, please drop a like. So you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode of the RTG Career Mode very soon.